I try and keep it simple. I really want to make music that speaks to people and connects with people on a human level. I want to make the type of songs that capture moments in people's lives that withstand the test of time, where 5 years later they're going to be like, raw, I remember that, I was here in my life.
Ooh, this weed, I'm so up. With this drink, I so up. Can't you see I'm...
The music industry in the UK is in the best place it's ever been, and continues to rise as more and more of our homegrown talent emerge every day. And as a presenter, broadcaster and UK scene advocate, I'm exposed to new artists all the time. But I wanted to know more about this new generation of talent breaking through, and discover a side to them that we never see on socials. So in this documentary series, I'll be discussing 7 of the most exciting talents breaking through that I currently champion, tagging along with them as they pursue their own dreams, support their own families, and avoid going down the wrong paths whilst climbing to success.
Go too hard, you might not go home.
I'm Jay London. This is 7.
When people tell you you're smart and you know you got a brain in your head, but you don't have really any like passionate calling. Some people are like, I want to be this when I grow up, I want to be that when I grow up. I didn't really know I wanted to be anything, but this was like a real slow burner for me. It was something that I loved doing. I love music, but then again, so many other people do. And with school, I was really disillusioned with it anyway. Like, I went from like top set in year 7 to bottom set by year 9. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I just did not care. So I just remember just sitting in school with certain lessons, if I even turned up, but certain lessons I'd just be writing in the back of my book, and we used to do these battles and stuff before, and that was young, like that was like, what, probably about 14, 15 them times. I remember being young and my favourite song was Free by Stevie Wonder. My dad used to bump that, I used to love that song so much, like from being young. So I'd always loved other things, and you know, to the D'Angelos, to the, you know how big R&B and soul was? We're the same age bracket, where we came up where that was very prominent. And that kind of really solidified it for me. By that point, it was really clear to me that anything else to me would just be a job. And as time went on, I remember like gigs coming up, and the whole of South London just wanted to rap. I remember like even college times, like coming home and listening to the SN1 tape, and you know, like, and that was so influential to, I'm gonna say at the least, the whole of South London. Because like the whole of South London wanted to rap. And I was like, you know what, this is perfect for me. Like, look, I love grime, it taught me a lot of good things. It taught me how to be aggressive, it taught me how to hold my own, it taught me how to control a microphone, it taught me how to control a room full of people, do you get what I'm saying? But beyond that, it didn't work for me, personally. And I just wanted to do something else.
Touchdown, touchdown, my head spinning round. Man down, this shit's insane.
How does someone who has been rapping for 10 years then reinvent themselves and make music which I will say is a completely different sound? Like, you might disagree with me, I don't know if you do, because you've come along that journey, but for me to listen to that and then compare it to what you were
something
doing,
older, yeah.
I feel like they're 2 different artists.
I think like, it's like going gym and you just do biceps. It's like you got bare strong arms, yeah, but your legs are noodly and you got no chest. I feel like that's what it is when you just got bars, and that's good if you want to be a battle rapper, but how many battle rappers do you know that can make music? And that's cool, I'm not knocking that, but there's more to music than lyrics.
Insane, no restraint, spend a big change.
Starting his career in grime and rap, Ben has found a new side to himself as an artist, a sound that I personally fell in love with instantly. So today will be spent learning about his journey through music, childhood and culture.
Yo! He's just in sliders, you know? This is Leon Triller, this is another sick artist.
So while you're here, what can you tell me about Ben? Involved in a lot of his music and
pretty much started together, I'd say.
Okay.
Pretty much the same time. I wouldn't be doing it if it weren't you.
Look at you being nice to me, man.
Nice to see you.
I wish you luck if you wanna try. Create some miles between you and
This hasn't changed very much, apart from being cleaner. But from the whole area has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Everything's building upwards, man. It's the gentrification thing, which people argue that it loses its character, but it's still for a good thing. Like, how can you really be mad at money being put into an area? Why would I want just a shit ends to stay shit? I don't find a sense of pride in that, you know what I mean?
Obviously, there's this whole debate about growing up in an area and representing an area and then moving out of that area. And a lot of people get criticised and scrutinised for doing that as well. How important do you think that is for someone from the ends, or, you know, an artist or their fans or their following, or do you feel like we're not even in that state of mind anymore?
It's weird, because I used to associate my identity with where I came from. Do you know what I mean? Like, I used to feel like, oh, if I wasn't living here, would my music change? Would it not be, would I not have the same intensity of thought? Do you know? And that's stupid, because why are you so proud? How can you be proud of something that you had no input in? I didn't have any input in being here. I was born here. I didn't ask to be born. Yo, stop at Lewisham. I didn't ask for that. I didn't say, yo, it's not. That's why the whole, like, when it was a lot more prominent before, like beefing with a man because he's from a certain end, it's so dumb, because how can you take so much pride in something that your mum just put you here more time, your mum put you here, and then you grew up there, and that's it. Like, but it's tribalism, innit? What I was saying to you earlier is that a lot of people get into bad things because everyone wants a sense of belonging. You might have the Millwall fan that might bust your head over football, and you think, right, it's only football, but it's not only football. It's deeper than that. That's their tribe. That's what they are. That's their cause. Everyone has noble cause to justify things that they do. I'm not saying that I'm not proud of being here. I am. I'm proud. I could have been anywhere and I would have been proud of where I come from. Anywhere that formed me, I would have been proud of. But what I don't think makes sense is when people take excessive pride in things to the point where it becomes harmful. But I am only speaking for myself when I say this area does not have enough for me to want to live here. Like, I don't even know if I want to live in this country, like, or live in London for that matter. Like, when the time comes, God willing, if I have children, I wonder, would I want to raise my kids around here or raise my kids in London? Because there's a different set of pressures. And as much as I love London, I feel like everyone's running just to keep still, almost. Like, you're running just to keep up with everybody else, and value for money and quality of life are two different things.
Ben is one of the most conscious thinkers I've ever spoken to, which is great because he allowed us to open the conversation to deeper issues that we currently face in the UK. And being a similar age and coming from the same city, I was very interested to hear about the pressures that he faced that many young people still go through now.
Talk to me a little bit about I'm imagining growing up, being in our youths, we all had stuff around us where there was always an opportunity for us to go down the wrong path. Was there a lot of those experiences for you, or was you quite good at staying out of trouble?
When you get to a certain age, I feel like the outside world contributes to you a lot more than your inside world, especially if you don't have a strong family unit. And people talk about how important, like, fathers are when you're in your formative years, once you get to a certain point. But really and truly, day after day, you spend more time outside than you do with your family, even just when you're in school. Do you know what I mean? From those hours of, let's say, 9 to 3, or you're already out all day. You might stay out for a few hours after, do you know what I'm saying? But then you come home, you might eat some food, go sleep, and then you wake up and it's the next thing.
Same thing again.
So all of your stronger influences are gonna be from what's happening outside of you. I feel like we all want things, like, we all want a sense of belonging, and it's really easy when you're young and impressionable to just follow suit because you don't want to lose face. You might even do something that you don't want to do, but you'd rather do that wrong thing than be ostracized by the people around you, because peer pressure is really real, you know what I mean? And I wasn't wise enough to be a person to see past that. I think it gets all of us to an extent. Life hasn't been about winning and losing for me, it's been about understanding. Like, I like understanding why people do things, because if I understand your psyche, it brings me closer to you. And that's always what I want to do. I feel like what your jumper says, I feel like that's one of the only things that matter in this world. Like, all these other things, all these other classifications, be it race, be it religion, be it your football team, your political, any type of form of tribalism, it creates a barrier between me and another human having a bond. Do you know what I'm saying? And, like, for me, I've always wanted to know why. I've never stopped asking questions. And I think when you think you know it all, that's when you stop growing. I try and just do things with a clean heart and pure intentions, and not be a facade, not be this person where I'm trying to be this persona, and I've always put that extra pressure on myself. I feel like if you love my music, you're gonna love me because my music is just me.
Wednesday morning and I'm shopping up in Harrods, man, I gotta go to Christian Dior.
Music and fame runs in Ben's family. His brother Young Ads is one half of D Block Europe and is at the top of his career, achieving huge radio play, a list of singles in the charts and selling out arenas such as Alexandra Palace twice.
I don't need no apron.
Although Ben and his brother make completely different sounds, I wondered what it was like sharing the same passion since birth.
You're gonna be ridiculously proud and happy with whatever success that he accomplishes.
100%.
That goes without saying. Like,
Yeah.
you know, no one watching needs to hear you say that. Like,
Yeah.
That's obvious. But has there ever been a time where you've looked at that and honestly with yourself maybe not felt discouraged, but questioning some of your own craft, seeing
That's a really good question.
what he is doing? And does it make it harder because he is your brother?
People don't realize it. This is why I say, like, he's only 23, but he's a veteran, bro. Like, he's been with me right in our bedroom, when we shared a bedroom, writing bars since 7 years old. Like, his brain is fully formed when it comes to music. No one can tell him anything. What I'm doing is not for everyone, and that's fine. But then at the same time, it's like, I feel like anyone that really did anything groundbreaking, they always just did them. They weren't just trying to tailor themselves and trace themselves off of a guideline that was given to them.
I wish you luck if you wanna try. Create some miles between you and I. Wonder how long this can really go on.
You remind me a lot of myself. There's a lot of stuff that you say that I 100% champion and agree with. Your thought process, the way that you approach certain things in life, and just how much of a deep thinker you are. I know there's probably a lot of points and a lot of times where you maybe questioned your own journey. Naturally, as a deep thinker, we all do it, I do it.
And even as a creative.
Even as a creative, just questioning, like, is this my purpose? Is this my calling? Should I continue to do this? How do you keep on reinventing yourself, and how do you keep on going?
I remember there was like a kind of like a penny drop for me where my boy Houdini said to me, if you were the only person on this planet, would you still make music? And I thought about it, and I said, yeah. We're all different, but we're all the same. And we create these barriers based on what our subscriptions are. And I feel like if you see someone on the floor in pain, just on a human level, you look at that person and think, that person's in pain, I need to help them. They need help. Everything else is bullshit. Race, cultural divide, yes, we have differences, but ultimately, our core values are the same. What I want my music to reflect is just that. Let's not create all of these barriers to be elitists or I'm better than you, or no one's better than anyone. Everybody has their own value, and that's what I want my music to really show of that. And I don't want to be putting on a facade. I don't want to be scared of getting hurt. I don't want to be scared of looking a certain way. Like, my hand on my heart, I don't give a fuck. If I've got to be that person that does that and then can encourage other people to do that and create a real conversation among other people, I'll happily do that.
I had a lot of admiration for Ben's thought process and just how at peace he was with himself, cutting out all the noise that comes with being a creative, which is still something I'm trying to master myself. He represents one of 7 artists in this series destined for greatness in a world still discovering their talent. And spending the day with him has made me very excited for everything that he and the other 6 have in store.
I don't know what I expected from today, but I know that when I came into it, I wanted to just speak to you on a level where I didn't know everything that you was going to tell me. Like, there's a level of research that I do before I come into these interviews. What's been rewarding is the fact that it's deeper than the music, man. It's not just, oh, look, there's Ben A.D., like, he's made a tune, and like, oh, yeah, that's all right. Like, it runs a lot deeper than that.
When I went to Antigua, that's where my dad's from. And it's so naturally beautiful. And it was just a reminder to me that in the Western world, we have so much option, but option is a double-edged sword, because yeah, you can be plugged into what you can have. But then at the same time, it opens the door for this dissatisfaction of what you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go somewhere like that where it's naturally beautiful, you got the sea right there, you got clean air, you got tropical greenery, you've got
Sun,
more time, you know what I mean? All the time. You got hummingbirds, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that. I feel like, okay, it's a slower pace over here, but you see people with less and they're genuinely happy. And I feel like over here, when you have less, relatively, you're not as happy because you're still seeing people that have more. But then you also see people with more that are still unhappy. They're letting their core state be dictated by circumstance. That's not the trap that I want to fall into. But you know what, bro? We're blessed to be in a line of work where whatever we do is readily accessible for years to come, because the internet, don't forget, once you put something on the internet, it's always accessible. And that's your legacy. There's two parts to your legacy. The love that you give to the people around you, the impact that you leave on people, your loved ones, your friends, and your professional work. And for me, it's tracks, or videos, or even like this interview. Stuff that provokes thought. I want to start the conversation with people on whatever it is. I want to start conversations and get people asking questions within themselves and everything around them. Just keep asking why.
Touchdown, my head spinning round, man down. This shit
That was
insane.
not crazy.
Spend a big change. She said, you drink too much. Okay.
Well in that.
We got you, bro. Don't worry, we got you. Yeah, no, watch it, bro. You know when the heat's on all of a sudden, it's like, right, I even bagged it.
You see, new things I take, moments I save, my days, my wave, too strong on my behavior, causes problems, I don't blame ya. Think that you can't take me anywhere and I don't know if you can blame me. And I don't care what they might say, they can't relate to a young brother getting money anyway. That cash in hand, then chuck it in a safe, save that for a rainy day, then I touchdown.